Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Nettie Owens. This is what businesses need to know right now. And today we're talking about confidence and hiring with Jennifer Mastor. She's been on here before and we're bringing her back because she brings topics that no one else is talking about. So I'm really thankful to have these conversations. This interview is part of an entire series. Whatbusinessesneedtoknow.com is where you can go and find the entire series, as well as the book that's soon to be published, and grab your copy. Jennifer's in that book, and she'll be in the next one as we continue this discussion. So Jennifer represents companies that are looking to hire a new person for their company in all areas, entry level to C-suite, with the exception of IT and medical. I love that you have clear boundaries. She represents individuals that are looking to change, grow, or have stronger insight about their career decisions. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thanks, Nettie. This is fun. I love coming back and speaking with you.
Well, I love having you. We almost had the entire discussion ahead of time. So let's just bring folks into what we were talking about. And something that's been critical as we start to reopen, and even as things were slightly more shut, but people were hiring, is the onboarding process. How do you onboard in a virtual world when people are working remotely and there is no option really to bring them into the office to meet and have those team luncheons and team building and go down to HR and they'll give you the orientation? How do we do it virtually?
Same answer I give to everybody: carefully, intelligently, nicely, with confidence when you onboard. There's about 3 elements to a really well-rounded onboarding program, in my opinion. You've got the organizational onboarding, making sure they have the paperwork; the technical onboarding, making sure they have the laptop and the hard things that they need to have. And then there's the social onboarding that goes along with it. So I think if you hit all 3 of the points and offer like a 360-degree view of the company, from the culture to the systems and the structure, you have a really good one. What people don't seem to do is share relevant information before the new hire.
Okay, so instead of giving relevant information be
all of the paperwork, your tax information, your social security information, where things are going to be set up, the paperwork to fill out whatever kind of documents that you need to fill out, because every company is different. All of the paperwork needs to get filled out like at least a week before. So you don't have those hangups of, oh, well, we didn't do this, we don't have your information registered, we can't assign you a laptop, we can't assign you a Teams meeting because we don't have it. So now you have to wait. You started on Monday, but really you're not starting until Thursday. So if you get it all done prior on Monday, you actually can start. Although secret to my thing is never start a job on a Monday, start on a Wednesday. It's a shorter week, it goes faster, it's so much nicer.
Okay, so that was like secret sauce, right?
It was a very much a secret sauce. So
I like that. So how do you create? I mean, I like that you had the 3 categories to fill, and I can see where a lot of companies have systems in place, right? We make sure we've got all the paperwork, we make sure we have all the technical, but what are folks doing in order to ensure that their employees, their new hires, feel like they're part of the team?
I kind of like the buddy system. Personally, you get somebody who knows the company, knows the people, and the people know that buddy as well. So when I'm starting a new company, I can get introduced in 5-minute little intervals on Teams meeting or little Zooms if you have to, if it's over video, and say, hey, Nettie, this is Jennifer, this is what she does, this is the department, this is who she reports to, this is her background. So when I start seeing Nettie in the Zoom meetings, I'm like, ooh, I know that person. And that person knows who I am now too. And if your company is over 200, you don't do it. But if you know they're going to be interfacing with the top 20, interface with them, have that person. And then I can come to you and say, Nettie, I forgot what Bob does. What does Bob do? Help me out here. And it's a little bit more security. And you actually do go in with a little bit more confidence to these meetings if you have somebody that you can relate to, and it's not always HR. Because right. HR doesn't know what you really do. HR does everything else except your job.
So a buddy system would be one way to kind of help people feel integrated, answer those questions, give them another touch point. And do do you know of any companies that are doing this now that you think kind of are that you see kind of doing onboarding well?
The companies that hire me, I share that with them, and they do. So
good answer.
My clients do that because I actually initiate that with them, and I share that information with them, and they appreciate it because they never thought about it before.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I check in with with the hires, they're like, "Oh my God, it's been really, really well." I've had employers send them flowers for their first day, so they have flowers on their desk. Even if it's a guy, I don't care. Guys like flowers. Put something on their desk that's meaningful. And I'm not talking like a junket box where you get all of the stuff from the company. No one needs all that the first day. All the swag. It's like, great, this is wonderful. But we thought of you meaningful. This is what you would have if you were not, working from home. This is what your office would look like. And we want to welcome you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at flowers, all you do is smile and you smell them. It makes you feel good.
That's right. So flowers, maybe a piece of art or something they could put in their office space.
A bag of M&Ms. A jar of M&Ms. Who doesn't like an M&M? I mean,
right. Excellent.
So there's little things that you can do, but having that buddy system really, really does work out to everybody's advantage, and it makes them feel welcome.
I love that. So on the technical side, how do you know which way to hire? We talked about onboarding, but ahead of that, are you hiring FTE full? I'm guessing you're gonna fill us in on that one. 1099 consultant. What do we do, or do we? Is there something that's better for different types of businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother discussion. But there's four different types of hires: your contractor, your 1099, your temporary, and your direct.
Okay.
And the companies have to know what's best for the position and for the role. If it's just a project based, it's a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
If it's somebody's out ill, if it's somebody's out on maternity, if somebody is, head up by a broken leg, then it's probably a temporary. But also temporary can lead to full-time as well. The old adage, try before you buy, it really is a smart idea. And it's not just for employers, it's also for applicants. So it gives them that opportunity to try the company out before they say yes or no. And employers never think about that. It's always both sides.
So I know of temp agencies, but can employers put in the temp to hire model without a temp agency? Can they just have that set up for themselves?
It's called the 90-day guarantee.
Okay.
Within 90 days, we have a chance to try you out. You have a chance to try us out. Within that 90 days, and my expectations are set, and they're realistic. Employers make sure everything is highly realistic. If you don't like us within that 90 days, thank you very much, goodbye. If we don't like you, it's the same thing. So you can definitely do that. Most employers actually have that within a certain time period. You will be reviewed. And then if you're not, then it's called a direct hire. But even direct hires have that stipulation in there.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have experienced that. I've provided that within my own company. I called it their probation period. And it was just that time where we were both learning the ropes, getting to know each other, and seeing if it was going to work in the long run. All right, last question. So do you know why you're hiring? And if so, do you have all the answers the applicants will ask you? So this is directed towards those managers, hiring managers, the employers. Do they typically have these answers ahead of time, or do you see that they tend to fly by the seat of their pants or think that putting the job posting is sufficient? Like, what's going on out there in the wilds?
All of it, to be honest with you. There are unfortunately too many hiring managers who don't have the answers. And it all starts with the job description. Who wrote it? How old is it? Has it been tweaked for 2021 and for virtual and for remote? And if you don't have that answer right then and there, how can you hire? If you don't know how to sell your culture, your team culture, who you are as a manager, then you don't know how to hire. Do you know how to look for body language and tone when you hire? Because if you don't look for those things and ask those questions, then they could be answering any question that they want and they are answering it perfectly, but that's just robotic. It's not who they are directly. So if employers don't know the answers to all the questions that they expect applicants to have the answers to, then it's a bad hire.
So if you would like to have a good hire and a good experience, check out Jennifer Mastor at mastorrecruiting.com. Jennifer, it's been great having you here. I'm going to wrap this up right now for our LinkedIn folks. This is 10 minutes, but I'd like to ask you one more question if you're open to it.
Always.
All right. So last question here, Jennifer, is what's different? It's been a year since you came on initially. What are you seeing that's different out there in the hiring, recruiting world that employers should be paying attention to?
Attitude, number one. You've had a whole year to figure this out. And what makes you stand out? Employers are trying to figure that out, and they're getting there. We can actually do this remote. We can't do this actually remote. So there's an ease and an attitude now after doing this whole thing for pandemic for a year that is it's actually nicer. So I get to see that doors are opening up now. And people are bringing other individuals in remotely as well as non-remotely as well. So I think the biggest answer to that is the attitude that you see with people. And hopefully it's a better positive attitude.
Excellent. Thank you for that. That felt so hopeful to know that we've actually learned something over the transition.
Oh, behold, actually you can learn, yes.
I know, it's so good. It's so good. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here with us today. Check Jennifer out, mastorrecruiting.com. She's a wealth of knowledge and experience that can help you correctly, efficiently, in a positive way, bring on those new people that are going to help you grow your company. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Nettie.